The Secret of Mrs. Brown's Tomatoes by Ryan Baker. The date is May 15th, 2398. The location is the Rainbow High School. Rainbow High School is a high school in the town of Rimefalls. Rimefalls is a town in the Garakia Kingdom. The Garakia Kingdom is in the dimension of Octaviax. There was someone in this high school. The person is Brody King, the high school senior. He had just entered the cafeteria. He proceeds to get his lunch. He sits down at one of the tables. He starts eating his lunch. At that moment, Ashton Satana, another high school senior, enters the area. He meets Brody. "Hey, Brody," said Ashton. "Hey, Ashton," said Brody. "I hear that Mrs. Emilia Brown is hiring new people to work her garden," said Ashton. "That's right," said Brody. "She hires one new high school senior each year. From what I heard," said Ashton, "you're in the lead for getting hired." "Oh," said Brody. "Yes," said Ashton, "although we never heard from Dave Nolan." "Yeah," said Brody. "He did the honor last year." "Exactly," said Ashton. "What are you thinking about to I'll go over to her place after school," said Brody. "That's great," said Ashton. At that moment, Brody thinks of something. "Mrs. Brown also has the best tomatoes." "That's right," said Brody. "That's right," said Ashton. "I wonder what she puts in her secret formula." At that moment, Mrs. Gallagher, another high school senior, shows up. "What are you guys talking about?" asked Vincent. "Brody's planning to working for Mrs. Brown," said Ashton. "Oh," said Vincent. "Mrs. Brown, I heard she put something strange in her special formula." "Something special?" said Brody. "This should be interesting." "Yes," said Ashton. Is this special ingredient? I hear that she puts a special kind of fertilizer in the batch," said Vincent. "I'm not sure what it is. I suspect that she uses some sort of slurry in it." "I get it now," said Ashton. "Yeah," said Brody. At that moment, the trio talked for several minutes. They soon eat their lunches. They soon spent the rest of the school day. Soon enough, the school day ends. Brody returns back home. Valerie King, his mother, is at home. "Hello, honey," said Valerie. "How was your date?" "It's great," said Brody. "There was a call for you earlier," said Valerie. "It's from Miss Brown." "That's right," said Brody. "It's about her job for working there on her tomato garden." "Exactly," said Valerie. "So what are you going to do?" "I'll take her up on her offer," said Brody. "That's great," said Valerie. At that moment, they proceed to enter the house. Brody works on his homework. They soon have dinner. "I'll go over to Mrs. Brown's place now," said Brody. "Understood," said Valerie. "Take care." At that moment, Brody leaves home. He heads over to Mrs. Brown's place. Moments later, he arrives at the place. "This should be interesting," said Brody. Brody parks his bike. He approaches the gate. At that moment, he notices a hat on the fence post. "Wait a minute," said Brody. "Isn't that Dave's hat on the fence post?" At that moment, Brody opens the gate. He walks up the stairs. He knocks on the door. "Who's there?" said Mrs. Brown. "It's me," said Brody. "Brody King." "Oh," said Miss Brown. "The high school senior." Mrs. Brown approaches the door. She opens the front door. She sees Brody. "You must be the new guy," said Miss Brown. "Yes," said Brody. At the moment, the pair enters the place. Miss Brown proceeds to give Brody a tour of the place. At that moment, Brody notices a newspaper article framed in the wall. The headline reads, "Local high school senior goes missing." He reads the article. He notices the name of the student. It's Dave Nolan. "This is odd," said Brody to himself. Moments later, they arrive at the tomato garden. "Anyway," said Miss Brown, "here's the tomato garden." She also shows Brody the tool shed. He also sees the container of fertilizer. "What kind of fertilizer is that?" asked Brody. "Oh," said Miss Brown, "it's my special formula of organic fertilizer." "I get it now," said Brody. At that moment, Miss Brown proceeds to give Brody a demo on how to work on the tomatoes. "I get it now," said Brody. "I'll leave you to your task," said Miss Brown. "Understood," said Brody. At that moment, Miss Brown heads back inside the house. Brody tends to business. At that moment, Brody notices the scarecrow. "That's rather weird," said Brody. At that moment, Brody approaches the scarecrow. He notices something odd about the scarecrow's head. He proceeds to touch the scarecrow. At that moment, the head falls off. It reveals that there is a human skull in the scarecrow's head. "Oh my God!" Brody said to himself. At that moment, Brody thinks of something. I have a bad feeling the skull belongs to Dave, said Brody. He proceeds to check the fertilizer. He soon finds that the fertilizer contains human remains. Oh my God, said Brody. The fertilizer contains the human remains. At that moment, Brody attempts to get his cell phone. He calls the police. At that moment, Miss Brown shows up. I am afraid that you can't let you go now, said Miss Brown. At that moment, Miss Brown charges Brody. She was holding a knife at the time, but Brody narrowly manages to avoid the attack. He rushes out of the area. He manages to hide inside one of the rooms of the house. He calls the police. Miss Brown arrived at the room. She starts hacking away at the door. You can't run, said Miss Brown. You'll make great fertilizer. All the while she's breaking down the door. At that moment she hears the sounds of police sirens. Several police break into the house. Hold it right there, said Officer Thomas Hopkins. Drop the knife and turn around slowly. The police officers aimed their guns at Miss Brown. Miss Brown proceeds to turn around. She slowly lowers the knife onto the floor. The police proceed to arrest Miss Brown. We'll take it from here, said Thomas. At that moment, they proceed with the relevant business. Brody soon returns back home. He has no idea what will happen next. The end. The realms are vast. The battles endless. Ride along Chaos called the Wanderer for sanctums of redemption and shadow worlds. Follow Tyr's Katarian, the half-elf ranger, as she hunts secrets that could alter the fate of all existence. Subscribe to fantasy and science fiction as Story Nori and join the Warrior Omega universe. Every tale it reveals a new legend. Ring the bell and step into the next chapter of destiny.